Beloved former First Lady Barbara Bush died yesterday evening and is being honored for her service of the nation.
We will have that and more coming up.
Good evening and thank you for tuning in to Newswatch Ole Miss. I'm DeAndrea Turner.
And I'm Courtney Cam.
Barbara Bush is being remembered as a force of a woman, a beloved former First Lady devoted to family. She died yesterday at the age of 92.
She was diagnosed with Graves' disease in the 80s and also had congestive heart failure and COPD, which affects the lungs. Brian Barisa has the story.
Flags around the country and world are flying at half-staff today in memory of former First Lady Barbara Bush, the matriarch of a political dynasty, one of only 2 women in American history to be both the wife and mother of a U.S. president. Tributes and condolences pouring in, none more moving than from her family. Former President George W. Bush posting this photo of his parents to Instagram, writing, "Our souls are settled because we know hers was." Her grandson tweeting, "My grandmother didn't just live life, she lived it well." Born Barbara Pierce in Queens, New York, she was 16 when she met a young man at a Connecticut country club who would change her life, George Herbert Walker Bush.
I married the first man I ever kissed. You talk about a bore. I am the world's worst.
The Bushes crossed the country to Texas and had 6 children. Their daughter, Robin, died of leukemia when she was just 3, a tragedy that had an enormous impact on Barbara. As her husband shifted to a life of public service, Barbara Bush remained out of the spotlight until he was elected as Ronald Reagan's vice president in 1980. And 8 years later, George H.W. Bush became the 41st president. Barbara Bush loved living in the White House. As First Lady, she established a nonprofit dedicated to literacy. In or out of politics, the legacy Barbara Bush nurtured will live on through her family, children, and grandchildren.
I know that I'm the world's luckiest woman. I think if I sort of put it in a nutshell, these are the things that are important to me: faith, family, and friends.
Brian Barisa, Newswatch Ole Miss.
A public viewing will be held Friday at St. Martin's Episcopal Church in Houston, Texas. Her funeral will be held Saturday at the church, and the invitation is required. Last week, 4 Mississippi State students broke into another university's football facility. They are said to have been broken into the University of Alabama's Mal Moore Athletic Facility and stole the Roll Tide memorabilia. And the students were caught on video surveillance breaking into the complex, and warrants were obtained by the campus police for each suspect Friday. They were all arrested and charged with a felony third-degree burglary. They are released Monday on a $7,500 bond. MSU Chief of Communications Officer Sid Sattler said the school does not condone this activity.
As Green Week continues, more events are being held all around campus. Newswatch reporter Madison Scarpino attended the Sustainability Fair today and has more. Madison.
Thanks, guys. Business Row was flooded with tents for the Sustainability Fair and celebration of Ole Miss Green Week. I checked out some of the tents today and learned a little bit more on conserving the earth.
As part of Green Week, the Sustainability Fair took place today on Business Row. Various sustainable organizations such as Gotcha Bike were on display for visitors.
So Gotcha Bike's awesome because it is connected electronically, but all of our program is run through solar power, and it's just an initiative to get people on bikes more rather than using cars, reduce carbon emission and our carbon footprint on campus.
The fair had multiple tents set up with local foods and other sustainable practices. Green student intern Taylor Robertson says she is passionate about conserving the earth.
What we're doing today is the Sustainability Fair. It's all about connecting people to sustainability topics, local vendors, specifically like for food, and local sustainable organizations. I've always felt very connected to the earth, and my passion for conserving it has come out of that love. What I want most to come out today is to educate and to empower. Those are, in my opinion, the 2 main goals of sustainability, especially at a higher education level, and all the events that we do. So educate, because you need to know what you're doing, right? And empower to give you the want to and the how to go and live more sustainably.
If you missed any of the Green Week events, it is not too late to attend some. Various events will be taking place all around campus up until this Sunday. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Madison. Many Ole Miss students who commute to campus every day have been affected by the closure of Chucky Mullins Road. Savannah Woods met with parking and transportation and found out there is no quick solution.
Now that construction of the new South Recreation Center is underway, the closure of Chucky Mullins Road has begun. Student Allie King says she struggles with traffic and finding a new alternative route.
I live on that side of town, and it's made my commute to campus a lot longer, and I regularly go to Whirlpool Trails, and it's made me have to find a new way to get there every time.
Here at Chucky Mullins Road is where barricades went up on Monday, April 16th. We met with the Parking and Transportation Director, Mike Harris, to tell us about the expectations of this area.
The project is scheduled to be completed in January of 2019. At that point, there'll be a new Chucky Mullins Road that runs to the north of the construction project and comes around to the east and then connects over to Old Taylor, and then a red light will be put in where Chucky Mullins comes out on Old Taylor.
However, to help traffic flow until the completion of the project, a new green route for the out buses will be implemented to run through the old Chucky Mullins parking lot.
By the end of April, we should have that green route rerouted back again just to the south of where the Whirlpool is now. So that should come back online.
But until the road reopens, Harris asks that people be patient during construction. Savannah Woods, Newswatch Ole Miss.
The University of Mississippi Theater Department will be on stage for their new production of one of Shakespeare's most famous works. Macbeth opens Friday and plays throughout the weekend at the Gertrude C. Ford Center for Performing Arts. The production is led by guest director Cynthia White. Tickets are available at the UN box office inside the Ford Center and can be purchased online or by phone. Finals are quickly approaching for Ole Miss students, but students have enough time to fully prepare for their exams. Sarah Gate Caliguire digs deeper in to find out if there is truly a dead week.
At this point in the semester, students are beginning to prepare for not only final exam week, but the so-called dead week that has become filled with projects, assignments, and last tests. Although we call it dead week, it is far from dead.
I would say I'm stressed just because there's already the day-to-day stresses of schoolwork and stuff and finals. But on top of finals, there's several teachers that are like, oh, well, you also have a project due the same day or the days following up too. So, I mean, it's just a lot to put on students.
I'm here at the Ole Miss Library where many students are beginning to prepare for finals week and dead week, which has become so busy and challenging due to professors not even knowing that dead week exists.
I've never heard of dead week. I mean, I did when I was in college, but I didn't know that was still a thing that we did, other than, zombies walking around by that point in the semester. Everybody is dead.
The Ole Miss Academic Regulations Policy states that during the period of Wednesday through Friday of the last week of class, instructors are not to give exams, tests, or quizzes that contribute more than 10% of the final grade for a class. The university technically has implemented a dead week policy, however, it is not enforced or recognized by most professors, causing stress for students at the end of the semester.
If you're putting all this pressure on them all at once with tests and projects and finals and this and that, and so you're going to end up having results that just don't accurately reflect the students' potential.
There's one thing for sure about dead week. No one understands it. Sarah Kate Caliguire, Newswatch Ole Miss.
Many universities have an actual dead week where there are no classes for a few days before finals start. Ole Miss's policy states that there are no major tests or assignments are to be given out before the week of finals.
Though not university sanctioned, many Ole Miss students know about the famous Ole Miss bucket list. Peyton Sams gives us a closer look at the sentiment behind the bucket list and the activities it entails.
I think the bucket list is special because Oxford is so special.
The University of Mississippi has a long-standing tradition among students in which they must complete a set of bucket list items around Oxford before completing their degree.
So I heard about the bucket list before I even got here freshman year, and now that I'm a senior, it's just kind of like a fun thing that me and my friends can do when we're looking for something to do. We're trying to get them all done before graduation.
Perhaps one of the most well-known items on the list includes taking a shot of whiskey on the famous author William Faulkner's grave. After finishing their shot, students will leave a sip behind for Faulkner to enjoy. The next item on the list gives students the opportunity to splash around fully clothed in the 3-tier Find Me fountain. You can find the next item on the Ole Miss bucket list right here at the Chevron on University, where we spoke with Ray Rupani about the popularity of chicken on a stick. Chevron is the home to Oxford's self-proclaimed best chicken on a stick. Staff member Ray Rupani says students and locals alike come in at all hours for this Oxford staple.
Oh my God, it's just crazy. It's really, really busy because we're 24 hours and most of the chicken on the stick they sell it's at midnight, after midnight.
To finish out the remaining portion of the bucket list, students will try to find a way to sneak into Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Although the university is in no way affiliated, this does not keep students from participating in this Ole Miss rite of passage. Whether it's these items or sneaking into the tunnels or finding the doorknob to the universe, this list is something that will forever be sacred to Ole Miss students. Peyton Sams, Newswatch Ole Miss.
If you can't make it out the door without caffeine from a morning coffee, this FDA update may be the one for you.
We'll have that and more, but first, Anna Polakovich has your first look at the current conditions.
Happy Wednesday, Oxford. Over the next few days, we're going to see the temperatures cooling down during the daytime, along with some moderate winds and some rain into next week. If you're looking at the current radar, you can see that there's actually no cloud coverage here right now, and it'll be looking clear over the next few days. More to come on Storm Watch.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I
was.
heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Yes, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
President Trump acknowledging today that the CIA director Mike Pompeo made a secret trip to North Korea, reportedly laying groundwork for the direct talks between Kim Jong-un and President Trump.
We have had talks at the highest level.
President Trump confirming CIA Director Mike Pompeo met with Kim Jong-un in North Korea over Easter weekend, saying a good relationship was formed. This is a part of the behind-the-scenes preparations for President Trump and Kim Jong-un expected in-person meeting later in May or early June. It will be the first face-to-face encounter between a sitting U.S. president and a North Korean leader.
You want these kinds of meetings to happen before the president actually goes and meets. You want some of these things to be hammered out so that final negotiations can be put down, because I think we're really at the 11th hour of diplomacy, and if this fails, I fear what comes next.
For Pompeo, what comes next is a difficult road to Senate confirmation to become the new Secretary of State, with Republicans and Democrats on the Foreign Relations Committee split as to whether revelations of the meeting will help or hurt his case.
I like the fact that Pompeo had met with him. I want those people meeting with Kim Jong-un or the people around him prior to the two leaders of the countries meeting together.
The two top-ranking Democrats of the committee, however, oppose of Pompeo's confirmation, with Senator Bob Menendez citing the surprise of the Pompeo-Kim Jong-un sit-down, saying that he was not forthcoming in their private meeting, and for someone who was in the nominee to be the Secretary of the State, when he speaks with the committee leadership and is asked specific questions about North Korea, to share some insights about such a visit. Pompeo is spending today's meeting with senators ahead of his confirmation hearing. And when it comes to talks with North Korea, several locations are being considered, including places like neutral European capital like Stockholm or Geneva, and a location at sea like Jeju Island or a ship. The composite sketch of a man who adult film star Stormy Daniels says that they threatened her over the alleged affairs President Trump more than a decade ago, released yesterday, and now the president is dismissing it on Twitter. He tweeted Wednesday morning, a sketch years later about a non-existent man, a total con job, playing the fake news media fools. It marks the first time President Trump has commented about the matter on Twitter. Though he did not explicitly refer to Daniels, the White House has said Trump denies the affair allegations.
She's the pilot who landed a Southwest flight after the plane's engine exploded mid-air. One passenger says she displayed nerves of steel. The airline has not officially confirmed that Tammy Jo Schultz flew the plane that was diverted to Philadelphia yesterday, but passengers have identified her as the pilot. Air traffic control recordings show Schultz remained calm. The Washington Post reports that Schultz served in the Navy for 10 years and was one of the Navy's first female pilots and one of the first women to fly the FA-18 Hornet. The FDA has published new guidelines warning people about the health hazards of products containing highly concentrated caffeine. There has been multiple attempts by the FDA to remove products from the shelves, such as dietary supplements that contain pure or highly concentrated caffeine. Despite these efforts, there is a constant trend of these products, which the FDA has labeled unlawful, being marketed to consumers and sold in bulk quantity. The regulations follow 2 caffeine-related deaths in the last few years. Just 7 months after Hurricane Maria, the citizens of Puerto Rico are right back where the hurricane left them, in the dark. Puerto Rico suffered an island-wide power outage caused by an excavator located in the southeast portion of the island. Power was supposed to be restored within 36 hours, although many are still without services. Earlier this afternoon, there were only 7 cities and 5 hospitals with power back on. This power outage is now the second largest blackout in history.
I am just loving this weather today, even though the sun's not really shining.
No, me too, D'Andrea. And I hope this warmth stays for the rest of the week. Annabeth Blockovich will let us know in her extended forecast coming up next on Storm Watch.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Happy Wednesday, Oxford. We are looking at a very comfortable current temperature of 72 degrees, and it is cloudy like it has been all day. And there are some pretty high winds out of the southwest at 15 miles an hour, but there is no chance of rain. If you look at the current satellite, you can actually see that there's no coverage here at all. There's only a little bit of cloud coverage, but nothing that's going to be affecting us. Looking at tonight's the current temperatures, it is 72 in Oxford and Tupelo, a little warmer in South Haven at 77, 73 in Holly Springs, and 70 in Corinth. Looking at tomorrow's temperatures, it's going to be a little bit cooler in Holly Springs at 56, 59 in Oxford, 56 in South Haven, 58 in Corinth, and 61 in Tupelo. Looking into tonight's forecast, it is going to be getting pretty chilly at 43 degrees. It will keep being cloudy, and there will be some hefty winds out of the northwest at 10 to 20 miles an hour, and there's a small chance of rain at 20%. Looking at tomorrow's forecast, it will be a good bit cooler, like I was saying, 59 degrees, so not as sunny and warm as it was today. And it will be mostly cloudy with winds out of the north at 10 to 15 miles an hour, but there will be no chance of rain, even though it's going to be cloudy. Looking at the forecast for the next few days, it's going to be 67 on Friday with a low chance of rain, but into the weekend there will be a 50% chance of rain on Saturday, 90% chance on Sunday, and into next week, Monday and Tuesday, it's a 40% chance of rain. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Anna Best. The Ole Miss baseball team is celebrating their $1 hot dog night. Let's see what they have to do in order to take on the win tonight.
And just across campus, the softball team is taking on Louisiana Monroe. Could this be a crucial for their season? Next.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
What's up? Welcome to Sports Watch. I'm Nick Donovan. Ole Miss women's basketball coach Yolette McPhee-McEwen has added Tony Green as a first member for coaching staff. Green spent the last 3 seasons at Toledo, but has over 20 years of experience as a collegiate coach. While at Toledo, Green's focus was based around recruiting, player development, and opponent scouting. Coach Yo was very excited about her new hire, but she can't rest now. She must continue the search for her supporting cast of coaches. On the road again, psych! The Ole Miss baseball team is actually back in Oxford, the first time since late March. Meeting them at Swayze Field tonight are the Red Wolves of Arkansas State. After a tough 4-4 road trip, Ole Miss shouldn't struggle too much against Arkansas State. The Red Wolves are a mere 12-20 and have lost 8 of their last 9. Ole Miss is undefeated in midweek games, the only team in program history to actually win its first 10. The Rebs have to be careful not to overlook this game, though, as they have a massive home series against Georgia this weekend. While the baseball team has been on the road, the softball Rebs have had a 6-game homestand that ends tonight as they take on the Warhawks of UL Monroe at the Ole Miss softball complex. The Rebels are 17-5 in non-conference play, so this is where they're actually dangerous. One major key tonight, get the clutch hits when they matter most. Ole Miss batters are 2 for 28 when runners are in scoring position. In NFL news, the Tennessee Titans plan to exercise their 5th-year option on quarterback Marcus Mariota. This move sets the stage for the Hawaiian Heisman to play for the Titans for at least 2 more years. The second pick overall in the 2015 draft, the throw-in Samoan is set to make only $3 million in 2018. However, that number skyrockets in 2019 to over $20 million earned. To the NHL, Westgate Sportsbook updated their odds on who will win the 2018 Stanley Cup, and leading the way are the Nashville Predators and the Golden Knights of Vegas. Of the 64 expansion teams among the 4 major U.S. sports, no team posted a winning record in their first season until Vegas, and the Knights show no signs of stopping, sweeping the Kings in round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs and being the first team to advance. Vegas will face the winner of the Sharks and Ducks in the next round. That's all for sports. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Newswatch_UM for more sports updates. Back to the desk crew.
Thanks, Nick. The cutest moment caught on camera between a gorilla and her newborn earlier this week.
Stay tuned. There's more Newswatch when we return.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Touching moments at Smithsonian's National Zoo Sunday, a baby male gorilla experienced a world of the first time in the loving arms of his mom, Kalia. The baby's father waited nearby and as in the zoo's silverback baraka.
Once Kalia was acclimated to her surroundings at the zoo, her handlers gave her training on how to care for an infant, including a plush stuffed gorilla to practice with before the infant was born. That is so cute.
That is the
Wasn't that
sweetest
adorable?
thing. I love that.
So cute. So, are we going to want to be outside for the baseball game this weekend?
Yes and no. It is getting a little cooler. It's been really nice and warm lately, but it is going to be getting cooler into this week. We have a 90% chance of rain on Saturday, and it will be raining on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. So, yeah, maybe not.
Maybe just go to the one tonight.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you, Annabeth.
That's all we have for tonight. Thank you all for tuning into Newswatch Ole Miss. I'm DeAndrea Turner.
Be sure to catch us here again on air at 5 and on our Facebook live stream. You can also find our show on HottyToddy.com. I'm Courtney Cam. Thank you and good night.